Behind me is a billboard of my mentorship streetwear scholars here in Times Square, New York City. And here are my students, David, Mario, and Dane from Endless Venture. And with my help, 4x their revenue and scale the brand to 5 figures. And in this video, we're gonna be taking them through the city of New York, treating them to the nicest restaurant in the city, and a surprise at the end. But before that, let's sit down one-on-one with the boys and pick their brain about their experience in the program. And also give you guys some free game in the mix as well. Let's go. All right, y'all, so we are here with the 3 boys, and I'm gonna allow them to introduce themselves and introduce their brand a little bit, just so you guys can get a little background information on them.
How's it going, guys? What's up? My name is David Pfeiffer. I'm 22 years old. I'm out of Cleveland, Ohio with the rest of the team. Grew up in a household, honestly, of artists. It went down generations of just artists, a lot of painting, a lot of crafting. Where I found myself was digital media. I found myself working alongside these boys at a studio in Cleveland. Shout out Cheddar Studios. And really, we found our passion for fashion, marketing, and content creation, and thought, how can we do this with our own brand? Endless Venture. So take it away, Mario.
I love that. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Mario. I'm 23 years old. I was born and raised in Beirut, Lebanon. Moved to the States when I was about 7. Didn't really have a big background in any marketing or content in general. I was very athletic based. Soccer was all I was known for. And fortunately, like David said, I had stumbled upon an agency to create content for one of my e-commerce brands that I started. Luckily, with that, was able to nurture our relationship and brainstorm a lot about what we can be doing more in life. Endless Venture appeared.
My name is Damon. I'm 22 years old. I grew up in Ohio. Initially, I was on the path of going to school. I was studying nursing. However, I didn't necessarily want to get stuck in that trap. So I took a huge step back, met these boys, started working with them at the agency. And through that, like David said verbatim, found a passion for fashion, figured out a way that I could market my passions, and here we are.
Man, I'm so glad that I'm able to sit with these guys today. This is actually our first time meeting. This is crazy. Our first time meeting in person. And, we've always done the group calls, the Zoom calls, but it's great to actually interact with them and really just learn their story a little bit more, just see where they came from and how far they've gotten. We've only been a month and a half into the program, and I feel like you guys have grown so much as a brand, just individually, just mindset-wise, I feel like when you guys first joined the program, you guys are really good with content. Still, to this day, you guys are really good with content. And once I saw that within them, I was like, oh yeah, I want to take these on as my students, because content, I feel like, is one of the things that people kind of struggle with the most. It's not that they can't make content, but they don't know how to make it the right way. So when you guys check out their brand, check out their Instagram, make sure to check out their content as well, because they do really well with content. Now that we talked about what you guys kind of do well, what were your guys' struggles before you guys even entered the program?
I think off of rip, we can say that our biggest struggles were that we were really, really honed in on making good content that face value represented our brand image. And we thought initially that this would be enough to carry us to the moon and beyond. What we learned quickly with the help of Elle and Phil was essentially that there were so many more aspects that went into what makes a brand successful. And a brand image alone is not going to get the eyes necessary for the conversions. So what we have really been focusing on as a team together was the niche and specific tactics that we can be doing to get those necessary eyes on our page and get those sales.
And to piggyback off that, we definitely had, like Elo said, that content was on lock because we were doing that for many other brands. And with that, we weren't really able to manipulate the product. And at the end of the day, this is the first time we've been able to actually put our thoughts and our creative ability into a product and curate it to be able to sell it to anyone and everyone. But learning that value of getting a wow factor in your product and making that product sellable was something that we definitely had to learn.
When you first start a brand, right, the name and the message just isn't important. And I'm not gonna say it's not important to where you can just willy-nilly just make a regular name, regular mission, whatever it is. But at the same time, think about the name, think about the message, cool, but really think about the product next. That's kind of like the most important thing. And I feel like when you guys first started, you kind of had both. So when it came to it, you had the name, you guys had the message, then you had that button up. When they first joined the mentorship, they had a brown sweatsuit. It was kind of like a statement piece, right? Just logo, something simple, logo on it, and nothing too crazy. Again, no wow factor, right? So which is okay. As a starting up brand, it's okay to have a statement piece, but it's harder to sell because nobody knows about that logo, nobody knows about that name. I can get that brown suit from Essentials, Fear of God type of thing, They started working on this button up, and when we saw the button up, we were like, oh yeah, that's the one. So the thing about this button up that Mario has on right now, we have the pocket with the button up and the attached sleeves. So when they were working on that that product, we were like, oh yeah, boom, that's gold, because it brings that wow factor to the product. Now, although, they added their logos, they did what they had to do when it comes to relaying the message of the brand, but they were able to produce a wow factored product. Now, don't get me wrong, we just dropped the product, so we're still working on it. For me, still marketing it, still getting it out there to different eyes, right? So before we even get too deep into this conversation, I want to know how you guys found Streetwear Scholars.
We originally found Streetwear Scholars. I think David was the first one that introduced it to the rest of the team. He had been watching your videos, L, for, quite some time. He had watched, the 1 hour course. And then after he watched that, he, came to us with the information and, asked us if we thought it was something that would be worth it. We're kind of questioning the value. So we did some deliberation, and then, we were on the onboarding call, and here we are, top selling students and Streetwear Scholars.
And the reason why you guys are the highest performing students in the mentorship is because, one, the content, right? Although you guys already had the content, I feel like we kind of maneuvered to how you can actually get views on the content, if that makes sense. You guys are really good with aesthetic content. Now, like I said, y'all, while you guys are watching this video, just go check out their Instagram real quick and just look at the content difference between when they started to where they at now, right? A little bit similar. You guys will see the difference once you guys check out their Instagram, right? So again, you guys are really good with the content. You guys kind of knew what you were doing when it comes to content and a little bit of marketing as well. But I feel like when you guys came into the program, you guys kind of figured out that, all right, there's a lot more when it comes to just owning a brand in general, right? So I know we talked about the main struggles within the brand. Do you guys have any individual struggles between you guys, maybe as brand owners, right? Because me, myself, I'm my own brand owner, right? It's just been me this whole time. Like, I don't have any partners like you guys. I don't have any of that. So what is the main difference when it's 3 of you guys instead of the 1?
Having 3 people focused on one task can be super powerful, but that you also have to take in consideration everyone has their own personal life, and everyone deals with things in their own personal life. And at the end of the day, we are new to business. For us to sit here and think that there's not going to be problems coming up, we already spoke about this as a team. We understood that problems are going to arise in our personal life and in business. But the number one thing David preached on was communication. At any point when we felt like we weren't really maybe, let's say, motivated, or we had a lot of things going on in our personal life, maybe at home, David is a very big vocalizer, and everyone just, whatever it is, let's speak about it, let's try to talk about it, and let's nip it on the butt as soon as possible so that we can keep the ball moving. Because at the end of the day, we like I said, we all have our own struggles in life, but 3 people facing a goal is way better than we think 1 person facing a goal.
3 people attacking a task, it is very good, but it can be conflicting. You know what I'm saying? 3 people, 3 different backgrounds, 3 different ways of being raised, all of these things come into consideration when you're trying to do something so important, so time sensitive. Butting heads is definitely going to happen. However, as Mario said, the communication is what's going to keep us on track and focused and get to our goal.
For sure. I'm glad you brought up communication too, because I feel like that solves literally 99% of problems. When a lot of people bump heads, or there's problems, or there's anything going on, communication could fix literally anything. Has there been a situation where communication just didn't fix it and y'all were just still bumping heads?
I would say 100%. There has been times, whether it came to something as specific as a concept for content or a design or a strategy that we wanted to implement. Sometimes communication just wasn't enough because we all felt so confident in what we thought was the right answer, especially as super new business owners. This is our first business, and we've only been doing this for about a year now. What we found was that when communication didn't solve the problem, the best method of attack was to build a system for it and delegate the work. So when we started off initially, there was a lot of overlap in the work that was being done between the team. What we found was the best way to approach a problem when it arose was to specify who is going to be attacking what and why. Our man Mario right here, with a little bit of FBA Amazon business experience, and Dame with great background in sketch and design, we found easily the best roles to delegate to each member, and then building out systems that each member could comply with really just made the workflow easy and efficient and optimized for everyone. And we're still learning every single day, but these are the strategies that have definitely helped us.
For sure, definitely. And I'm glad that you guys kind of talked about the roles between you guys' brand, because again, as an individual brand owner, I have to do all of these jobs, So the fact that each person has a role, and say one day we're like, okay, we're going to attack these tasks. You do this, you do this, you do this. And at the end of the day, we all come together. You just got done so much work that me personally, I'll be fried after, because even if I do get it done, I'm tired as hell, whatever it is. So yeah, that's really good. I'm glad that you guys talked about that. Going back to the program, right, on how you guys joined and when you did. Again, there's a lot of viewers out here watching that are maybe skeptical with joining the program, or got a toe in but don't really think it's a scam, or maybe they're just trying to take our money, or maybe I'm not really going to learn, or maybe I'm just not going to improve in general. So before you guys even joined the program, were you guys skeptical at all? Was there any any misleading thoughts, like maybe this is not the right choice?
No, for sure. And I'm not going to say I was the most skeptical, but I was the most unaware of things going on, especially with your mentorship. But when David brought it to me, as a partner with David, I have an obligation to trust this man and trust Dame. And that's the thing that takes a lot of, I think, time and effort for someone to understand. It's not about you anymore. Once you enter a business with partners, it's how can we as a team collectively grow? And if, let's say, majority thinks that this needs to happen, let's make it happen. And, and for sure, there's some times where, someone can disagree and not want to maybe invest in whatever. But I trust these boys with my life for real. And so whenever they bring on something that's, of opportunity, I'm always open to it. I'm always open for more opportunity.
So one of our biggest skepticisms was, how much was this mentorship really going to be able to help us? And I say this because so many coaches and gurus nowadays, especially in the clothing brand niche, can be a little bit out of touch, especially with these beginners who are just getting into it like we were. Now, what we really trusted in was the niche and specific questions that we would be able to ask to be able to get the best answers from you guys. And the reason that we really trusted that you guys would be able to offer that to us was essentially because, as I was telling Phil earlier, just watching your videos alone, all of the content that you made did not skip over anything. It wasn't just a broad idea. It was, you could get to point A to point B by doing X, Y, Z in this exact order, and don't forget this. So just that niche specific advice really spoke to us as new brand owners. And we went into the mentorship knowing that if we sought out those specific questions, we would be able to get the best advice from you guys. And thus far, I gotta say, we've had a great experience asking those questions, getting the advice from you guys. Sometimes it would be an experiment. Sometimes you guys were sure about the advice you were giving us. But at the end of the day, we always worked through it and always found a result.
For sure, definitely. And, at the beginning, it's an investment, right? I mean, that's what I consider it. I know you guys consider that as well. And not even just owning a clothing brand, right? Just being in a specific position to where maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to get somewhere, right? Any type of business you're in, you want to get somewhere at the end of the day, right? You have a goal. So in my eyes and what I believe in, and the advice that I give to a lot of people is that if you want to get somewhere fast, you're gonna have to pay for that speed, right? You're gonna have to pay for that speed. You can win both ways. You can win learning on your own, and you can win investing in information, right? But the difference between both is amount of time that it's going to take, right? If you're on YouTube all day trying to figure out all that free information and try it out on your own, it might work, it might not. You might be going one way in the wrong direction. So I really encourage even the viewers watching that if you want to get somewhere fast, that's if you want to get somewhere fast, I suggest paying for information, because that person will tell you, okay, you're doing this right, but you're doing this wrong. Let me fix it. YouTube can't give you that answer, right? So definitely, I'm really glad that you guys joined the group, man. And, I'm blessed because the fact that you guys came into the program with something that you guys are really good at, it wasn't really too much work to kind of just switch the mindset of just being brand owners, right? Because you guys already kind of got the gist of it, especially with the content and how to actually run the brand, even the products. You guys have great products, high quality products before, we even met. Yeah. So it was just that little tweak to kind of just turn you guys up a little bit, right? So after you joined, how was the experience with the Inner Circle group? You guys made that investment first, right? What were the feelings between the group after you guys made that initial investment? Like maybe the next day, like how were you guys feeling? And
the biggest thing is we all believe that once you invest either your time or financials, you need to jump in head deep into whatever it is. And that's what we said. As soon as we sent the wire over, we were already locked in on what we need to get done in the group and how can we be as effective as possible and not let up on on this opportunity because, like you said, paying for mentorship is that express lane. And at the end of the day, we don't got time till we're 80 to make our bread. We're trying to make it now. And paying for that experience from someone who's already done it really just gave us that relief. As soon as we kind of made that investment, we knew that you guys were going to be on board with us. And on top of that, your offer was great. You know, having that guarantee at least give us some relief on the back end that, you know what, it's all performance. Like, we got to just show out and then we'll be blessed at the end of the day.
I think that, you know, upon discussing everything that we were maybe skeptical about, we did come to the conclusion that there is a lot of value, but it's just value if it's not taken advantage of, right? So like Mario said, you know, diving into an investment like this head first is the way that you get the most value out of it. And I think that a lot of people are scared of, you know, any kind of information because they maybe don't have the confidence in themselves to do what it takes to get the value.
So after you guys made the investment, kind of had some feelings about it after, whatever it was, figured out that, okay, we got to be on it. Now that you guys after made that investment, how was your experience maybe like the first 2 to 3 weeks, right? After we did some inner circle groups, one-on-one calls, how was your guys' experience maybe like 2-3 weeks later?
So I'll say that just like these boys were saying, right after the investment was made, we knew that it was time to lock down, lock in, and make sure that we were making the most of our investment, because we know that we were making the most of our investment. And within those first 2 to 3 weeks and those first couple of group calls, onboarding call, even our first one-on-one call, we realized that there was some backtracking that we had to do. There was some bases that we had left uncovered that we needed to go back and take care of to make sure that we could progress at not only to progress at the most efficient rate as a team. And those first couple of calls really opened our eyes to questions that we had not even known that we needed to ask ourselves. So we went into this investment really confident. Us as a team, we had a goal that after we made just our first sale, only then would we seek mentorship. We wanted to prove that we could get to that point first so that once we had received mentorship, we'd be able to take off and take flight. So after those first couple of coaching calls, we really realized that there was more to the picture than we had realized. We realized that this was a bigger game and the lights were brighter, and you guys really just kind of guided us throughout those first couple of calls, made sure those boxes were checked, and then it was time to take flight.
And I feel like when you guys first joined, right, you guys had a lot of confidence in the brand, which is amazing. I love it. And you guys were strictly ready to run ads, I think, honestly. Like, okay, we got a nice brand looks good, got the product, let's start running ads, right? And I was like, hold on, with just some few things we got to fix up first, and then we can run ads. I already knew from the get-go, like I didn't even have to get on the call with you guys, and I just had to look at your brand and knew that you guys were definitely ready to run paid ads, right? A lot of brands out there are not, they automatically want to start running paid ads. As soon as they make a product and make a brand Instagram, like it's insane. But I already knew you guys had the content, you guys had the Instagram page, it looked good, organic flow, all that type of stuff. But there were little tweaks, right? Little tweaks here and there for the website, tweaks here and there for the Shopify, tweaks here and there for just, again, the content being good, but maybe we got to tweak it a little bit when it comes to engaging the viewers, that type of thing. So just in general, after joining the program, your overall experience so far, since you guys joined till today, give just an honest, brutally honest, we're on camera right now, give a brutally honest, I want each individual to give a brutally honest review on the mentorship, the program, and just how we've helped you guys in general.
I mean, a lot of great takeaways, to be honest. I think one of the best things is, like you said, making sure that we're on track to start before we go ahead and jump the gun. Like, that would have wasted us so much time. So that fix right off the jump, I mean, wonderful. And then ever since then, making sure that we stay on track, making sure that we're meeting the timeline that we wanted to, you know, like you made sure that we had this drop ready, you know what I'm saying, way before, you know, necessarily that we were ready to drop. But the sense of urgency, the accountability, like those are the things that I will forever be grateful for and take away from this mentorship, because like, I don't know, you could pay for all the value, but if you don't have anyone holding you accountable, if you don't have anyone like really making sure you're doing what you need to do, it'll never get done.
Yeah, I agree completely with Dame. On top of that, besides the coursework, the one-on-one calls, those were all super beneficial. My biggest thing that I really appreciated was the access. We were fortunate enough to hop on a call with your man, Houston Reese, someone who's very well-versed in the paid ad industry and has scaled businesses crazy. So I think that going into it, when I first invested, I was like, I hope, you know, we can really make this happen. But when we were in it, And now it's like that investment has already returned tenfolds just by being able to ask the right questions to people you have access to. And all of that has been insane.
Sure. I want to just add on to that real quick. So if you guys don't know who Houston Reese is, go back to a few of my videos on my YouTube channel. He's actually a big mentor for me and a genius when it comes to paid ads and just marketing in general. So these guys were able to actually get access to Houston Reese, hopped on a call for at least, we were on a call for like 2 hours, kind of just going over just paid ads, right? Like I said earlier, they were automatically ready to run paid ads before, but as soon as they joined the program, right? We want to learn about paid ads. So I knew that was the main information that they wanted to figure out, right? Learn. But, like I said, we had to make a couple tweaks first and then get into the paid ads. So not only when you guys join my program that you just get access to me, but you get access to the people that I know, right? And these people that I know are also 6-figure earners in different spaces, not just the clothing brand space. Houston Reese, he manages clothing brands, but at the same time, he's a marketing guy. So he knows what's going to sell. He knows psychology. And, him being a big mentor for me, I know that as well. So me being able to introduce you guys to him, and he kind of changed your guys' mindset when it came to, just learning how to sell. I feel like a lot of brand owners nowadays just don't know how to sell. They make crazy products. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of brands out there. Y'all making some fire products for sure, but y'all only selling 5 to 10 products on a drop. You guys don't know how to sell. So I feel like within the mentorship, within the program, we actually teach you how to sell, and the fact that the more eyes you get, the more sales you get, right? The thing about your guys' content, it was great. Aesthetically, it was amazing. But at the same time, like we said earlier in the video, nobody really cares about the aesthetic, brand name, message. This is what we are type of thing, especially when you're a new brand. So I'm not going to give out too much sauce, but we want to kind of just teach them that we want to get eyes. Let's get views, right? And I'm not saying that we're just going to post some BS just to get some views, but we're going to engage the audience the first 3 to 5 seconds on the content. It's not just organically, but on the paid ads as well. So go ahead, David.
I'll say that if there's one phrase to describe the mentorship as a whole, it's hands-on. Just like he was saying with Houston Reese and the access to all that knowledge, and just like Dame was saying with the discipline, everything is so hands-on. No stone is left unturned. And like what we've noticed working with these guys is just that they care. They are knee deep in your business just like you are. It so far has felt more like a partnership than a mentorship, just partnering with somebody who has literally done it before, man. And you said be brutally honest, but thus far, I got nothing bad to say.
These are my highest performing students where we have 4x their revenue ever since they joined the program. Now, there are a few students in the program struggling, and they're either struggling with product, content, or just, running the brand in general. So what kind of advice can you give to a struggling brand owner that's first struggling with content?
If you're struggling with content, to be honest, that's all up here. You can struggle with content, but at the end of the day, it's you telling yourself that you're struggling with the content. You're not. When you're all in your head talking about content, go ahead and take away whatever you think you know about content. Like, especially with TikTok, like just post. Like, figure out what your standard is. You know what I'm saying? And once you figure out that standard, then uphold it. But if you don't even know what your standard is and you're trying to make content to fit imaginary standard, obviously you're always going to think, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing that right. So best advice, get rid of any ego, get rid of any standard, and just shoot the content.
Shoot the content and post the content. Right. Like, y'all probably get to the shooting part and then y'all don't post it. So a lot of you brand owners are sitting around wondering why you're not getting any sales, why you're not getting any views, why you're not consistent. So like I said, you brand owners, shoot the content, but you guys never post the content. And then you guys wonder why you're not getting no sales, why you're not getting any views. Well, that's because you guys aren't staying consistent. And before we get into advice on product, because a lot of brand owners struggle with product as well, how important is it to be consistent when it comes to content? And have you guys been more consistent joining the program?
So I'm going to say one thing before, David, you can take this away. But in terms of content, I know it's such a vague term and people may think of it as, there's so much that goes into content. All I'm going to say is that the creative outlook and the creative content that you may be posting, content and creativity is so subjective. So like what you may think may be not a good piece of content or it may not perform well, like the only way you're going to figure that out is by running that and testing it and posting it. And like I said, being creative is subjective. So, you don't know who's going to like what you post. So
we know that there's a lot of content to be made. You need content for TikTok. You need content for Reels, different formats. You need content for the face of your Instagram. You need content for your website. All these different types of content, and it could be so overwhelming. So just take things one at a time, man. Like, if you think of all the content that you need, even if you're just talking about one video that you're making, if you're trying to think about it start to finish, and then how you're going to edit it, and then how you're going to do all the copy, and then you're thinking about all the specifics of it, it could get super overwhelming. But if you just take things one at a time and just focus on today, that's the key to the consistency. If you try to build a system for posting a TikTok once a day across 5 accounts for a week straight or a month straight, it's going to be overwhelming and you're not going to want to do it, and you probably won't do it. But if you just take things one thing at a time, you're going to have a lot more fun with it. You're going to make better content because it's going to show in your content with the energy and with everything. And the momentum. And when you build momentum, you will see the results. And that's how this works. That is the mindset shift that these guys really introduced to us, because after so much content and not really seeing any results, and we say so much content, but we were making 1/10 of the content that we're making now. It just seemed like a lot because we were just thinking, we weren't taking things one thing at a time. And once we started doing that and just following what these guys told us on how to make content structurally and concepts. Also, it's not just like they're spilling sauce on the operations. They're spilling sauce on ideas. It's like daily they'll send just a TikTok or a reel in the chat and be like, yo, David, make this. And then it's like the next day, instead of me and Dame being like, oh, what are we going to shoot today? It's just like, all right, we got to replicate this and apply it to our brand image, and we have fun with it. And we take it one thing at a time. We're not thinking about tomorrow. And before you know it, we got a TikTok posted across 5 accounts for a week straight. And now we settled it down to one account that was doing the best. And not only have we seen an increase in views, we've seen multiple conversions from our TikTok that still has under 100 followers.
And you know, when I first started this program, because honestly, as a brand owner, especially making multiple 6 figures with my brand, I didn't have to create this mentorship, right? There's a lot of brand owners that did 6-7 figures and don't gatekeep all day. They just gatekeep all the time. Before I started this, I wanted to make sure that you guys were actually, not just you guys in general, but I'm saying the whole program actually gets value. Well, number one, but number two, I wanted to make sure that you guys stay disciplined. And I felt like on our group calls, even on our one-on-one calls, even in the Discord chat, we were kind of like constantly giving you guys reminders, not saying you guys weren't on it, but just saying that, you know, giving you guys constant reminders on the Discord, like, let's get to it. Come on. Like, we got a drop coming. Boom, boom, boom. Like, come on, let's get these sales, that type of thing. And as students, you guys were great students because you guys took that information and, again, ran with it, actually put action to it. I feel like a lot of people take and consume the information, but don't take any action. Then they wonder why nothing's not working. I made sure that when I first started this mentorship that you were getting value, but you were also getting the discipline as well, because that discipline factor, that's what really goes from you making $0 all the way up to you making 6 figures is the discipline, right? What are you going to sacrifice to actually make those sales or actually scale your brand and, you know, become a better you? So with that being said, before we even get to advice on product, because we still have to talk about that, right? Are there any sacrifices that either you guys made since you guys have started the brand? Not even just started the program, but just started the brand in general. Is there any like sacrifices to where it was like, I can't do this today. Like, this is not, I know I want to do this because it's fun or because it's enjoyable, because it's comfortable, but I gotta work on it. I gotta work. Is there any sacrifices?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you're going to get the run-of-the-mill sacrifices, everything that everybody talks about. You're not going to go out on the weekends. You're not going to see your friends as much as you'd like to. And like, these are my friends, these are my homies. And it's like, obviously we're talking in Discord all the time, but like before this trip, it was probably a couple of days at least. There's been times that is weeks that I actually hadn't seen them face to face because we're just on the computer all day on Discord. So it's like all the run-of-the-mill sacrifices, yeah. But then on top of that, some real big picture stuff. Me and Dame were living in a studio apartment downtown and enjoying every single second of it. We were obviously not as financially stable as we'd like to be. We started a brand because we wanted to build it sky high to get to a spot where we could be financially stable and some. But what we had to do first was completely shift the jobs that we were working. We had to move back home with our parents, both at 22 years old, which already a lot of people will feel ashamed to do. All these things that not only saved time, but also saved money, and honestly, insurmountable the amount of sacrifice that you have to make. But at the first glimpse of return of sacrifice, you feel like it's all worth it. Every single piece of it.
Exactly what David said. And on top of it, you need to understand that if you're in a daily routine or if you're in a routine before you were a brand owner. You need to understand, but once you are established brand owner, your life has changed, and you can't sit here and think that your normal life is going to be able to be the same. Like, you now have obligations, you have responsibilities to withhold this level of professionalism in your brand, because if you don't, people are going to see right through your brand, and at the end of the day, you're just wasting time. So that sacrifice needs to be a shift of mindset of that, like, you're leaving that old self behind. That person who doesn't really want to educate themselves a little bit more, or doesn't want to take that risk, or doesn't want to invest in themselves. Like, the only way I truly believe you're going to make it is by taking that risk and that sacrifice into investing in yourself. That will lead into great success.
Obviously, great sacrifices both of you guys listed, but another big one is just like, you get to realize who's really supporting you, but in the process of realizing who's supporting you, you also lose a few supporters, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, back to the ego, it's like, you got to realize that nobody cares about you. You got to make them care about what you're trying to do, you know what I'm saying? It's so easy to go in here with, high horse, pride, too much of it. The first step in order to make those sacrifices is to humble yourself, you know what I'm saying? Understand you are just somebody trying to be like the other guys. You know what I'm saying? You're just somebody trying to do something that other people have done. But until you feel like and truly believe in your head that you want to do those things, you won't. But the first sacrifice is changing your belief, changing your mind to actually allow you to, succeed and do what you want to do.
Definitely. And I love what you said, Dame, about being humble, right? I feel like there are a lot of people out there that maybe have a skill and don't want to really learn more about that skill because they already have the skill, right? They don't want to improve and scale their mindset with that skill. Mario, you could have easily said, we don't need to this mentorship because I know how to do this marketing shit, right? I know how to market. I know how to run paid ads. Don't worry, guys, I got us. He could have easily did that and been a little selfish, maybe a little ego, and be like, no, guys, we don't need that. Come on, let's rock. But put his pride aside, right? Humbled himself and said, okay, we can learn from these people. Maybe there's something out there that you don't know, or even me, I'm not perfect, right? I have a lot of knowledge, but I'm still learning at the same time, right? So even within this program, I don't try to belittle anyone because I feel like anybody can get to the level that I'm at, right? It's definitely possible. But at the same time, even we were at the WAP experience earlier, right? Listening to a couple of seminars with a couple different hosts. And one of the hosts said that only 1% of the people in the world are business owners. Why is that? Why do you guys think that 1% is that?
It's the path less taken. People don't want to actually do that. You know what I'm saying? In their head, it's like, yeah, that sounds cool, but that's all it ever is to them. It's just cool. So I think that it just takes, obviously, the sacrifices, dropping the pride, humbling yourself to actually decide that you want to do something as amazing as creating something bigger than yourself.
And on top of that, the thing is, we are doing, in terms of a business model, being a brand owner, it's unpredictable. People nowadays, or in general, have been accustomed to normality. They want to be comfortable. They want to be sustainable. They want to have something that's going to carry themselves for the rest of their life. They want to just be content. At the end of the day, that's just not what we stand for. We know that there's so much more to be made in this life, not only financially, but knowledge and experience.
And like what Mario was just saying, what we stand for, one thing that really helped us that might not be super relatable is that our whole brand image is about getting 1% better every day, constant improvement. And how are we going to do that if we hold on to any of our ego? One thing that our coach Phil said is to drop all your ego at the door. And you can apply this to every single aspect of the business. Even if we feel super confident about something, we see zero leaks in it. Instead of just moving forward with it off rip, we take it to these guys, and even if they aren't super sure about it, we just work it out together. Just because of that moment of dropping ego and thinking that you could do it all by yourself or the answers, we work it out every time. So that's just, I love that sacrifice.
I mean, I done made so many sacrifices, and I feel like the biggest one is just time. You don't have time. You can't get time back. That's the one thing in life you cannot get back. I feel like a lot of people don't really realize that, and they value money more than time, right? Even with me, making my sacrifices, I have to sacrifice time with my girlfriend. I got to sacrifice time with my little brothers. I got 4 siblings, right? All younger than 16. So they want attention, right? My little brother, he's 9 years old, playing basketball, calling me every day. Could we go to the park? I got to pack these orders today. I got to work on my website today. I can't. Maybe tomorrow though, And at the end of the day, they just have to, the people around you just have to understand that I got somewhere I got to be. be. I have a goal that I want to get to. So you just have to understand it's nothing personal between it. It's nothing personal at all. But if I want to get somewhere, I can't be with, I'm not saying I can't be with my little brother playing basketball, but just saying I can't be with my homies outside partying, smoking, doing all that type of stuff because I have a goal to make, you know? And if I don't put in this work today and I delay it, there's another brand owner across the country putting in that work right now while I'm partying, that type of thing.
You know, what you won't do, someone else will.
Exactly. Real talk. And
Opportunity, or you want someone else to have the opportunity that's meant for you.
Literally. And I always go back to basketball because I played basketball growing up. And sports, it's like, if you're not getting in the gym, putting up shots, working on your game, somebody else, the state right next to you doing the same thing. And when it comes to any sport, you know, especially when you're competing for a scholarship, senior year in high school, maybe you win JUCO, and you're competing for a scholarship to go to college, these college coaches are looking at you and saying, okay, he's okay. I don't like his work ethic, but there's another kid in this state right here. His work ethic is amazing. I'm going to go get him. Just off the simple fact that he's putting in more work than you, that type of thing. So I feel like a lot of brand owners, even business owners, got to realize that if you choose a day to where, okay, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to delay it and maybe do it a day tomorrow, a couple days later. Okay, go ahead, do that if you want to, you know, because you want to be comfortable at the end of the day. But just know, David, Mario, and Dame putting in that work while y'all sitting on your ass not doing nothing, you feel me? Or delaying whatever task that you guys want to accomplish, right? So
he talked about sacrifice and him not being with the fam and his brothers, and it's all about understanding your why. That why is going to give you that motivation, that push to provide for those family and friends that you are doing this for. Because at the end of the day, I know everyone in this room, like, we want to be that individual that is a provider, that is able to give our family and our generation what they need to survive. And this is our timing, and this is God's timing. And at the end of the day, having that why on the forefront of your head every single day is just a good reminder of just to keep going and to keep pushing.
We talked about your why a little bit earlier, but it was more of your why of your brand, right? The why, the name, the message, and how the what is more important than the why when it comes to owning your brand, right? When it comes to the actual brand itself. The product is a little more important than the name and the message, correct? So, but individually, why you own a brand, why you own a business, that is a little more important. That, I feel like that's number one when it comes to individuality. That's what's going to drive you every single day. So I want to kind of go over each of your guys' why and why you guys even continue to work on the brand as a team. I mean, one of you guys could branch off and be like, I want to own my own brand. Like, I don't want to work with you guys, type of thing. So let me just start with my why. So my why, like I said, I got 4 siblings, all younger than 16. So me being the oldest, I got to lead by example. You feel me? So that's one of the reasons why that I go so hard, because I want them to see me as like, damn, my big brother actually doing something, and I could do this too, you know? And the best thing about that is I'm their big brother. So I'm going to give them all this game as they're growing up, type of thing. Number 2, watching my mom struggle. You feel me? I came from a one-parent household. You know, my parents divorcing at 3 years old, type of thing. Me living with my mom, going house to house every single year, new house, every single year, new neighborhood, new city, type of thing. Watching her struggle. Mind you, she's struggling, and it's 4 of us, me and my 3 little brothers, type of thing. And my little sister, she's obviously on my dad's side, but her raising 4 boys at different age groups. I have a younger brother at 9, twin brothers at 16, and then me at like 20 something, right? 20, 24, 25, right? So just watching her and her actually living up to the household and really holding it down as one individual. I'm not just saying just because she's a mom, but that's hard for just one individual to take care of 4 different lives, 4 different mouths you got to feed, right? So at the end of the day, that's my why and why I go so hard. So go ahead, David.
Yeah, kind of funny because it's like I'm the flip side. So I'm the youngest of 2 sisters and then myself, so 3 siblings. And we grew up in a household that, you know, I am super blessed, super grateful to have a ton of support around me, but it was not always easy for my family. I was grateful enough to have both my parents in my household my whole life, but financially, that is something that we struggled with from the day I was born till today. Debts that are just completely unpayable and aspirations that are unable to be met just because our circumstance, essentially. And it's generational in my family. And being the only son and just the youngest in my family, I feel just like a super heavy responsibility, almost existential responsibility that I took on to just create something bigger than myself. And being in school, I learned quickly that there were others that were superseding me in what I was studying, which was mechanical engineering. And I just did not like the idea that with a degree, I was going to be in a field working where there were others that were doing better than me. What did that mean? I wasn't even going to be making the most money. So then what? I knew where my passion lied, and that has been within me forever. Always dressing to impress, you know what I'm saying? But it was starting a business, my why being that I needed to make something because nobody else in my family has, and I needed to be the one that flipped that generational curse. I needed to be the one that was able to provide for my family, immediate, extended, and the same way that you're setting the example for your little siblings so that they could do the same. Obviously, one day a family of my own, I just want to be able to set an example for my last name, my family name, and just something that they can flip the switch and say, he did it. We could all do it.
For sure. It's amazing, David. My why stems from where I originated from. Being from Beirut, Lebanon, in a third world country, I was around a lot of violence and around a lot of mayhem going on, and I wasn't really aware of what's going on. And my parents took the initiative to move us to the States, fortunately. And that alone, the risk they took to bring us to the States with myself and my older brother, for me, I didn't even think that I would ever not be able to finish school and get a degree and go through all that process, because my parents were so adamant that America is all about, education. The American dream is to get your education, get that degree, get that job so that you can be successful. But throughout my life in the States, I really realized that there's so much opportunity out there. And it's really up to you to make it happen. At the end of the day, me taking the step away from school reignited my why to show my family that, hey, you took this risk, and I'm going to show you that this risk is going to pay off tenfold. It's not going to be through regular schooling and getting a corporate job. It's going to be creating something that you and all of our family back in home in Lebanon is going to benefit from. And that's my why, is just taking care of all my family here, and especially the ones back at home that are still suffering through all the mayhem and struggle and stuff.
What's my why? Relating to you, L, you know what I'm saying, grew up single parent household. My parents never even got married. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that separation there, I have two other sisters. I'm the middle. I'm the only boy, relating to you, David. Not to get into it too much, you know what I'm saying? It was just it was really, really rough, you know what I'm saying? I got both my parents in and out of prison even before they got married, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that's really, really tough, but it's things that could have been avoided, you know what I'm saying? David, you're talking about generational curses, and it's my mom could have avoided that had her mom avoided that, you know what I'm saying? So for me, my why is, long story short, I don't want anyone else in my family to have problems or feel the way that I feel, on a day-to-day basis. And you could call it what you want, but a lot of it comes from a lack of money. I don't ever want to not have enough money to make anyone in my family feel like they're trapped, you know what I'm saying? It's I have to be the person to work super hard to get them out of this, you know what I'm saying? Obviously I'd love for them to get themselves out of a hole themselves. If I feel like they can't do that, or if I feel like it's not going the way it is, I'm going to be that person that, gives them what they need, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's at such a small scale, I'm literally just putting food on the table, you know what I'm saying? For my mom and my two sisters, that's cool, but that's not just where I want. The ceiling's always growing. The more I see something that I don't like to see that goes on, the more struggle that I realize, or even just think about that was going on when I was younger, it just makes me so much more hungry for it. I don't ever want my kids to feel the way I felt, for real. I want my kids to know that it's okay to take a risk. My grandparents, you know what I'm saying, they didn't necessarily like all that, it's traditional, just graduate high school, going straight to a trade. Do I look like somebody that's going to a trade? So it's I want them to know that the option to take a risk is there, and it's always there, and that it can be done given that the work is put in. So that's my why.
And, I love what you guys talked about. And I feel like similarity between all four of our stories and all four of our whys. The first thing that we did not say was money. That was the first thing we didn't say, right? I asked them what was our why. I gave you guys my why. And the first thing that they said was that they wanted to be an example for someone that they love, family, whatever it is, right? And then money obviously is the objective. Obviously, that's why we're all here. We want want to make our lives better. So obviously, yes, money is the objective, but I feel like a lot of brand owners, and I'm just speaking brand owners just because that's the niche that we're in. A lot of brand owners think that once I create this logo, once I create this mock-up, and once I create this Instagram page, I'm about to start printing money. They think the clothing brand space is a get-rich-quick scheme. Honestly, you're better off probably trading stocks, I'm not gonna lie, than starting a clothing brand. Because honestly, especially from my experience, I didn't see profit until year 2 to 3. But when I first started, there were real limited resources. Like there weren't any brand owners offering mentorships. There weren't rarely any YouTube videos about owning a clothing brand, right? Oh yeah, great sound to have on a video, man. Great sound to have. Anyway, all of our main objectives when it comes to our whys was not money. And a lot of you guys are watching this video because your main objective is to get money. That's the first thing you want to do. I want to make money. I want to make a bunch of money. And even, a few people that want to join the mentorship, that's the first thing I ask them. What is your why? Why do you want to do this? Oh man, I seen this dude. He did like 10K off a drop. And then I seen another one do like 50. I'm like, damn, I need to start doing this. I'm good. Go try another program, because I know that if you join my program, the first thing you're going to want is that dollar. And I'm going to let you know right now that when you're first starting out, now don't get me wrong, when you guys first started, you guys were kind of already polished, right? Like I said earlier in the video, brand was amazing, content amazing. You guys had a gist of what it took to own a clothing brand, right? So I think a lot of the beginners think that, okay, once I produce this product, people are automatically going to start buying it. And that's just not the case, right? You guys have to have a bigger motive when it comes to owning a brand and just owning a business in general. Being an entrepreneur in general, bro, like we said, there's only 1% of business owners in the world. So it's like, there's a reason for that. And the reason is because the other 99%, they want money first instead of their why, instead of improving themselves first before they start making that money, right? So with that being said, even the topic of money, you still need money to start something, right? You still need money to not even just start, but to operate. What we teach in our program, even before people even join our program, is that it's not a 0 to 100K that you're going to make in a month or 2 months, that type of thing. It's like, okay, as long as you have enough cash flow, we're going to lead you in the right direction to scale your brand and improve your brand if you have the cash flow. Because at the end of the day, it's not even about clothing brands. It's about owning a business in general. Any type of business that you want to get into, you can't start it with $0. And if you have $0 right now and you want to start a business, I'm going to tell you right now, go get some money first, right? I'm going to be completely honest with you. And I believe that these boys can agree as well. It's easy to get money, right or wrong. I can go apply at the McDonald's down the street. You feel me? I can go apply at the Wendy's down the street and go make some money. The people that are watching, I know you guys have excuses on excuses on excuses. And it's insane because the excuses that you guys have are so easily fixable. And I know you guys have experienced that just with other people, that people just make so many excuses. And it's just like, okay, but why don't you just go do this? Like, you're complaining and you could just go do this for a little bit, and then, you will be in a much better situation. Before we end this, we've been chopping it up for a while, and, great conversation, great interview. I'm glad that you guys came and got to film this with me and just came to New York and experienced this with me. I could have been just like, nah, I'm not going to take none of my students, but, I wanted you guys to really experience this with me and just be around, again, being part of the program, you're going to be around the people that I'm around. So when we're at WAP headquarters, they're around 6-figure earners that are doing all type of stuff, making all 60K a month, 100K a month earners that are doing all type of different things. So the fact that they were even in that room, you got to think about it. It costs a lot of money to be in that room that we were in today, y'all. So I'm so glad that they were able to come with me and really experience that. And really, I feel like it kind of opened up your guys' mind up a little bit more, especially when it comes to being business owners, because it's like, hold on, he just made $1 million a month doing AI OnlyFans. We met somebody doing AI OnlyFans and making $1 million a month. Any information that they have, you can even maybe even pertain it to your brand. You never know. The conversations we're not even going to talk about, because again, it costs a lot to be in that type of room. So I want to say that I appreciate you guys coming. The reason why they flourished so well within the program is because, number one, their content. Like I said, I've said it 5 times in this interview. Content was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And if you guys want to learn about content, all you have to do is go to their Instagram page, literally, and you will see how well of the content that they make. Number 2, stable cash flow. The best thing about these 3 gentlemen right here and this one brand is 3 of them for one brand. 3 different cash flows for one brand. And I know a lot of you guys are watching are just individual brand owners, just like me, right? I'm an individual brand owner. So you're getting the best of both worlds right now. A team that owns a clothing brand and an individual that owns a clothing brand. And what I'm going to say that the similarities are you need cash flow. You need stable cash flow. Before we even get to how they got that cash flow within their brand, what is making you guys leave your 9-to-5 right now? I know you guys are still working your 9-to-5, right? We've only been in the program for about a month and a half. What is making you guys say, I damn near want to quit today, but I know that I need this cash flow to keep operating the brand a little bit until I start making a couple more dollars?
Great question. In very simple terms, L, I hate being at work. I love working on my brand. You know what I'm saying? But my brand's not making the money I need it to make, so I still have to be able to make money to put into the brand. So until I can do what I love full time, I might have to do something that I don't like on the side.
And it's at the end of the day, like you said, it's about sacrifice. You got to sacrifice the idea in your head that like, I'm going to just create this and hope that it goes off. It's going to go to 1 million. Like, you need to have some sort of ability that, you know, if anything were to go wrong, you have something that you can quickly go back to, generate some cash to then be able to go into another opportunity. But having that sacrifice that, you know what, I have to struggle right now in my 9-to-5. I have to make that commitment, because without that commitment, I'm not going to be able to have that opportunity to invest into scale or to do whatever happens. Because at the end of the day, we all know this, one TikTok and your whole life can change. And now we have to order 2 to 5 to 10,000 units of a product. That's a lot of cash. And if we don't got anything behind us that we were able to generate some cash flow, it's just non-existent.
I'll say, as far as that 9-to-5, this isn't like we're able to make a pre-made drop just because we came out the gates swinging with good content. We were able to do a pre-made drop because we have been trying to make the money outside of the clothing brand in the most efficient way possible for as long as I've been an adult. All three of us, we all were working at this creative studio, and how did we get there? Cold email or a friendship and a reach out, cold outreach, and it's opening doors for yourself. You first of all need to have that ambition to be making money in the most efficient way possible. And you're speaking to somebody who lives with their mom, but I know good and damn well I am more capable of making money than the next guy my age. And why is that? You boys know, I know, you know, it's that we want it more. And we're willing to look deeper for what that is. And what that is opening doors for yourself. If you work at McDonald's and Wendy's paying $1 more and you get to work 1 hour less, go work at Wendy's today. Don't even wait. You need to be making moves as soon as you can in your life, positioning yourself to be making the money necessary to even do this thing in the first place. And when I say do this thing, that circles back to the why. Because, Elle, I appreciate you hyping up our content. Like, we do feel very confident in it. And you guys talk about our content in the one-on-one calls and the group calls as an example all the time. And we do appreciate that. But that content, that is our why. As far as that why, you know, I'm sure that everybody viewing, and as far as us, we all have different circumstances, but what we all have is the commonalities. We want to be able to provide, whether they're younger than us, older than us, we want to be able to set an example and provide. Yes, all of you can agree with that, and all of you can apply that why to insurance sales, a clothing brand, XYZ business, if that's what you want to do. But the thing about the clothing brand for us that really relates to the content is that our why that is specific towards a clothing brand, it's that content, it's that marketing. We know that this is a niche that the biggest catalyst of success is that content. And that is something that we were willing and able to learn. It's not just something that falls in your lap. Me and Dame started a YouTube channel 4 years ago, and that's what put us in this room today. I didn't even have a camera. We had a buddy that had a camera. I didn't know how to edit. What did we do, Dame? We learned how to edit. You learned how to edit. This guy now, full-time content creator for a sneaker reseller. And it's like, where did that come from? That's passion. It's passion. You need to have that passion for creating good content. Clothing is content. As much as the marketing materials and all of the TikToks and the Reels are content, the clothing is content as well. And if you don't have that passion for content in general, then the streetwear niche, the clothing brand niche, that's not for you. Go sell insurance.
And, you know, what they kind of didn't talk about when it comes to jobs, you know, when I had my 9-to-5, I ain't gonna lie, the reason why I quit is because I'm not finna have a boss tell me when I can go use a bathroom, bro. I ain't not gonna lie. You feel me? I don't wanna have to, this is not high school no more. I don't wanna have to be sitting at my job and asking my boss to go use a bathroom. Or asking my boss, I mean, not even asking the boss about a lunch break, but hey, I only have 30 minutes for a lunch break, an hour for a lunch break. break, or I have to ask my boss for vacation time. Maybe my family or my girl wants to go on vacation, and maybe they want to go on vacation in like 3 to 4 weeks. I tell my boss, he's like, oh, it's not enough time. You got to give me some more time. I'm going on vacation. You tripping, you know, that type of thing. So it's like, you know how I go. That was the main reason why I quit my job. I'm
deadass. You just reminded me that I'm deadass supposed to be at work right now.
Hey, but listen, y'all. This is what y'all gotta realize, man. This is the risk that y'all have to take. No. Wait, hold on. Before y'all even keep going on that, man. While y'all watching this video, don't be persuaded that y'all want to quit y'all job right here and there and start a business. When I quit my job, I actually saved like 2 to 3 months of bills before I even quit my job because I didn't know what was gonna happen. I took the risk. Yeah, I took the risk, but sometimes when you take the risk, it doesn't work out. So I had to kind of have like a little bit of cushion so that when I did quit my job and took the risk, I wasn't out of shit and I didn't have, any money at all, right? So again, if you guys are watching, man, and you're kind of on the verge of quitting your job, or, you have that 9 to 5 and you want to start becoming an entrepreneur or becoming a business owner, just think about that. Just think about the risk that you're going to take, right, before you even quit your job. And I recommend, honestly, to continue having your job while you have your brand, especially starting out, because again, you need that cash flow, right? How are you going to have money for samples? How are you going to have money for bulk order? How are you going to have money for that Shopify that they're taking out every month just to have a Shopify? Yes, they charge you every month just to have a Shopify. All right. How are you going to take care of the marketing and that type of aspect? So let's just go to any final thoughts that you guys have to end the conversation.
Yeah, man. I mean, all I got to say at the end of the day, pressure makes diamonds. So if you are in a 9 to 5 and you are still ambitious, trying to look for opportunity, just know that being in that circumstance should add some pressure under your belt to kind of keep you pushing, keep you motivated, just like Elo does in the Discord, just like keeping us reminded, keeping adding pressure under us. At the end of the day, that pressure is going to turn into diamonds.
To piggyback off Mario, that risk that you want to take will not make you rich if you don't take it. And you also will not get rich from that risk if you half do it. You got to be all in and all towards the risk, or else it's almost meaningless.
And we might as well be one voice saying the same thing, because at the end of the day, it's like, what is more important to you? Is it living the same life that you've been living because of the fear of stepping into the unknown? Or is it just taking the risk, calculated risk, like you were talking about, making sure you're doing everything right, and living the life that you want to live? You got one life. Why would you want to live a life that is not the one that you want to live? The very top of your bucket list. What do you want to do most? For me, I want to sell clothes. I want to design clothes. I want to sell clothes. So here we are. And I appreciate you and Phil, the whole mentorship. Sure. I appreciate everything and the opportunity to be here in New York with the team. Honestly, it's a blessing. We're super grateful. Invaluable. Invaluable.
And I know if some of you guys are watching and you guys are skeptical saying, oh, this can't happen to me. Walking testimony right here, y'all. And I don't want to hear none of that, oh, it's 3 of them running one brand, so they have all the time in the world to work on. I did it individually and still did 6 figures. All right. So just think about that, man. Think about that. It could happen to you if you have the confidence. It could happen to you if you take action and you actually have passion for it, right? Because that's the only way it's going to work. Stop the money grabs. There's no money grabs out here. There's no 0 to 100K in a week, 2 weeks, especially in the clothing brand space. All right. So just think about that. Again, I appreciate Endless Venture for coming to my interview. Great students of mine, my highest performing students came and showed love experience with me. So I appreciate everybody coming. Mr. Be Special, we out.
See you soon, y'all.
Let's get it. All right, what's good, everyone? I'm back from New York, and all of my students are back from the trip safe and sound. I really hope you loved that interview with my students, and I really hope you got some value from what they were saying, because that was for real some sauce. Now, you got 2 options when it comes to this after watching this video. You can either keep watching these success stories that I'm gonna be putting out every single week, or you can become that success story just like David, Mario, and Dame did. Finally be able to quit your 9 to 5 job that's been paying you comfortably, but you want more for your life. And finally show up the way you want for your family and for yourself, and have that financial and location freedom you've always been wanting. So if this sounds like you, then go down in the first link in the description and apply to work with me one-on-one, where we'll guarantee that you can consistently make $20,000 a month with your clothing brand and leave your job just like David did. As you can see from this screenshot, he put in his 2 weeks, and it's actually crazy because he did it right after the trip, so I wasn't able to get it on video. But back to the guarantee. If we can't get you that guarantee in the next 180 days, we will work with you for completely free until we do so. Literally 0 risk. And yes, that's how confident I am that you will get this result. Just how we took David, Mario, and Dame and all of the other success stories you'll see in the link down below. Also, in the intro, I did say that we were gonna take them through the city of New York, have a nice dinner, and then a special surprise at the end. But instead, what I'm gonna do for you guys is give you a whole different vlog, giving you guys an inside scoop of what we did instead. Because if I put it in this video, it's gonna be like 2 hours long. So make sure you're on the lookout for that separate video, because it's gonna be super fire. All right, Mr. Be Special, we out.